There was a time in America when survival wasn't a hobby, it was normal life. Your grandparents didn't call it off-grid living, they called it Tuesday. They canned vegetables on the porch, collected rainwater from the roof, traded eggs with neighbors, rendered animal fat into cooking oil, and butchered meat without asking permission from anyone. Because back then, self-reliance wasn't suspicious. It was respected. But today, many of those same skills are restricted, regulated, fined, or quietly disappearing altogether, not because they stopped working, but because the world changed around them. The transition. Modern society runs on dependence on supply chains, dependence on corporations, dependence on systems most people no longer understand, and the more dependent people become, the more dangerous self-sufficiency starts to look. Today, we're uncovering 15 old homestead skills our grandparents used every day that are now restricted, discouraged, or practically illegal in many parts of America. And number 1 is something millions of families still do quietly behind closed doors. Number 15, the Porch Egg Basket. Your grandmother would gather eggs in the morning, wipe them gently with a dry cloth, and place them in a basket near the road. Fresh eggs, 50 cents a dozen, no refrigeration, no labels, no inspectors, because eggs naturally contain something called a bloom, a protective coating that seals the shell and keeps bacteria out. But modern regulations require commercial eggs to be washed, and washing removes the bloom, which is why store eggs need refrigeration in the first place. Today, selling eggs without permits, grading, or inspection can lead to heavy fines in some states. The old system worked, but the legal system changed around it. Number 14, rendering lard. During the Depression, nothing from an animal was wasted. Fat became cooking oil, soap, candles, even waterproofing. Families would slowly boil animal fat into pure white lard and store it for months. But modern health campaigns demonized traditional fats for decades, replacing them with industrial seed oils and processed alternatives. And while rendering lard itself isn't illegal, selling homemade food products often requires expensive commercial licensing most small families can't afford. A skill once considered basic survival became economically impossible for many people. Number 13, herbal medicine. Long before pharmacies existed, families relied on plants, garlic, yarrow, elderberry, comfrey, knowledge passed from grandparents to children, but modern regulations transformed many natural remedies into controlled products the moment someone claims medical benefit. Today, in many places, you can grow medicinal herbs, but selling homemade remedies can trigger regulatory violations. The strange part? Many pharmaceutical drugs originated from these exact plants. Number 12, wood heat and cooking for centuries. Wood stoves heated homes and cooked meals. Entire families survived winters using nothing but firewood and cast iron, but modern environmental restrictions increasingly target wood-burning stoves for emissions regulations. In some areas, older stoves are banned entirely, which means families who once depended on local fuel must now rely on centralized energy systems instead. Number 11, saving seeds. Your grandparents didn't buy seeds every year, they saved them. Tomatoes, beans, corn, the strongest plants produced next year's crops. It created independence, but modern agriculture changed farming into a patented industry. Today, many commercial seeds are hybrids or genetically modified varieties that don't reproduce consistently. And in some legal cases around the world, farmers have even faced lawsuits over patented seed genetics. A practice once considered wisdom became controlled property. Number 10. Rainwater collection. To older generations, collecting rainwater was common sense. You placed barrels beneath the roofline and stored water for gardens, livestock, and drought seasons. But water rights laws complicated everything. In some Western states, rainwater collection became heavily restricted because runoff water was legally claimed downstream. For a period in Colorado, collecting large amounts of rainwater was technically illegal. The rain falling on your roof wasn't considered yours. Number 9. Raw milk. Before industrial dairy systems, people drank milk raw, fresh from the cow, rich in enzymes and natural bacteria. But after disease outbreaks in poorly managed urban dairies during the early 1900s, pasteurization laws spread rapidly. Today, raw milk sales are heavily restricted or banned in many states. Supporters argue small local dairies are safer than industrial systems. Critics argue the risks remain too high. Either way, a food once considered normal became controversial. Number 8. Home butchering. Fall slaughter season once brought entire communities together. Neighbors helped neighbors process meat before winter. Nothing wasted. Bones became broth. Fat became fuel. Organs became food. But federal meat processing laws changed everything. Selling or bartering meat outside inspected facilities became illegal. And slowly, the neighborhood smokehouse disappeared, replacing local resilience with centralized processing plants. Number 7. Homemade soap. Soap used to come from wood ash and animal fat. Families made it themselves, stored it themselves, used it for generations. But modern regulations surrounding cosmetics and sanitation products made commercial production heavily regulated. The irony? The ingredients remained simple, but the paperwork became impossible. Number 6. Front yard gardens. Victory gardens once fed America during war. Now, some homeowners associations ban vegetable gardens in front yards entirely. Perfect grass became more acceptable than food production, and in some neighborhoods, growing tomatoes visibly from the street can trigger fines. A generation ago, that would have sounded insane. Number 5. Barter economy. Your grandparents traded constantly: eggs for milk, labor for meat, firewood for repairs, no paperwork, no taxes, just trust. Today, barter transactions are technically taxable income under IRS rules, which means even direct trade between neighbors became part of the regulated economy. Number 4. Clotheslines. In some suburban areas, outdoor clotheslines are restricted by HOA rules because they look poor. Think about that. Using sunlight to dry clothing became socially unacceptable, not because it failed, because appearance mattered more than function. Number 3. Home canning. Home canning once lined every basement in America, rows of preserved food, preparedness built into everyday life. But modern fear of contamination and stricter food sale laws pushed many families away from it. Now, entire generations grow up without knowing how food preservation works at all. Number 2. Raising livestock chickens once existed in almost every backyard. Today, many cities restrict or ban them entirely. Noise complaints, sanitation laws, zoning restrictions. The result? People lost direct connection to food production itself. Number 1. Quiet self-reliance, and finally, the most forbidden skill of all, needing less. Growing your own food. Repairing instead of replacing. Trading instead of buying. Learning instead of depending. Because a truly self-reliant person is difficult to control. And maybe that's why these old skills faded away. Not because they stopped working, but because dependence became easier. Conclusion. These weren't just traditions, they were systems. Systems that created resilient families, strong communities, and independence from centralized control. Your grandparents survived depressions, shortages, and wars because they knew how to provide for themselves. And maybe the most dangerous thing today is how quickly that knowledge is disappearing. The old homestead wasn't perfect, but it created something modern systems struggle to replace: freedom. And sometimes, the most rebellious thing you can do is remember how your grandparents lived. Whisper tone. This is the Fallout Files.